Stamets' name in Star Trek Discovery explains the real-life science behind the Spore drive. Star Trek Discovery's Spore drive may be a work of science fiction, but the name of Anthony Rapp's character reveals more thought has gone into the bizarre form of propulsion than it seems. Rapp's presence in the Star Trek Discovery Season 5 cast may very well have resulted in him playing Paul Stamets for the final time, although the franchise does have a long history of bringing characters back via time travel and other overused sci-fi TV tropes. That being said, his Star Trek return may not be necessary. Discovery ended pretty satisfyingly for the main cast. Rapp played Commander Paul Stamets throughout all 5 seasons of Star Trek Discovery, with his unique arc becoming one of the most compelling parts of the show from day one. The story behind Paul Stamets' name reveals a lot about where his journey was headed even before the first episode had aired. The figure on which Rapp's character was loosely based heavily influenced the direction of the show and what happened to the USS Discovery's crew, allies, and enemies. Mushrooms feature unusually heavily in Star Trek Discovery, which can take some getting used to. The role of Anthony Rapp's character on board the USS Discovery is as the ship's mycologist. His experience and research don't just help him maintain Discovery's Spore drive. He also helped design the technology that lets the ship jump instantly from one location to another, sometimes covering huge distances in the process. The entire process seems very bizarre, but Star Trek Discovery grounded the invention by giving Rapp's character the exact same name as a real-world mycologist, Paul Stamets. The real Stamets is an amateur mycologist, so his fictional Star Trek Discovery counterpart is far more qualified. That being said, the real Stamets is respected in his field, very well versed in various types of mushrooms, and a major proponent of their use in a medicinal manner. His entrepreneurial spirit combined with his love of mycology led to Stamets founding a company named Fungi Perfecti in 1980, which is still active today. According to the Fungi Perfecti website, Stamets has been teaching mushroom seminars for over 30 years. Although they don't all interact in exactly the same way as they do in Star Trek Discovery, all the buzzwords like spores, tardigrade, and mycelial network aren't fictional. Spores act in pretty much the same way in the real world as they do in Discovery, but the concept of an alien tardigrade is where Star Trek starts to veer from the path. Tardigrades do exist, but they haven't yet been proven to exist anywhere other than Earth. Star Trek Discovery's mycelial network also hugely bends the truth of its real-life counterpart. Said system is how mushrooms connect and communicate with each other underground. It has the same general idea in Discovery, but it doesn't exist in space, and therefore can't be navigated like it is in the show. However, Star Trek Discovery's attention to detail and use of actual scientific concepts is still impressive. Stamets' name in Star Trek Discovery explains the real-life science behind the Spore drive. Star Trek Discovery's Spore drive may be a work of science fiction, but the name of Anthony Rapp's character reveals more thought has gone into the bizarre form of propulsion than it seems. Rapp's presence in the Star Trek Discovery Season 5 cast may very well have resulted in him playing Paul Stamets for the final time, although the franchise does have a long history of bringing characters back via time travel and other overused sci-fi TV tropes. That being said, his Star Trek return may not be necessary. Discovery ended pretty satisfyingly for the main cast. In Star Trek Discovery, the character of Paul Stamets holds a unique place in the franchise, thanks to his deep connection with one of the most controversial yet intriguing technologies introduced in the Star Trek universe, the Spore drive. The Spore drive is a propulsion system that allows the USS Discovery to travel instantaneously across vast distances by tapping into an intergalactic network of spores. But what makes this technology stand out isn't just its imaginative premise. It is also tied to real-life science. The character's name, Stamets, is a direct nod to a real-world figure, mycologist Paul Stamets, whose work in fungal biology offers some scientific grounding for the otherwise far-fetched Spore drive concept. Who is the real Paul Stamets? Paul Stamets is an American mycologist and author whose pioneering work focuses on the ecological importance of fungi. He has explored the ways fungi can be used to address environmental challenges, such as bioremediation, using fungi to clean up pollutants, or promoting sustainable agriculture. Stamets is best known for his research into mycelium, the vast, thread-like underground networks formed by fungi, which play a crucial role in decomposing organic matter and cycling nutrients through ecosystems. These mycelial networks can extend for miles beneath the soil, communicating and transferring resources between plants and fungi in a process often likened to a biological internet. It is this connection between mycelial networks and information transfer that inspired the writers of Star Trek Discovery to name their spore drive expert after the real-life Paul Stamets. His work has opened up new understandings of how interconnected life forms can be, a concept the Discovery writers took to a cosmic scale. The science behind the spore drive, as depicted in Star Trek Discovery, works by utilizing a mycelial network that exists not only beneath the surface of planets, but across the entire universe. The drive taps into this intergalactic fungal network to allow the Discovery to travel instantly from one location to another. It's a striking leap of imagination, but it is rooted, albeit loosely, in actual mycological science. In real life, mycelial networks act as conduits for transferring nutrients, water, and chemical signals between different organisms. Paul Stamets and other mycologists have described how these networks form an intricate web of communication beneath forests, allowing trees to talk to each other, share resources, and even send warnings about diseases or pests. The idea that fungi could be responsible for such a vast, interconnected system in real life offered fertile ground for the Discovery writers to imagine an even larger-scale version that spans galaxies. While there is no scientific basis for the existence of a mycelial network beyond Earth, the concept of interconnectedness within nature is very real. The Discovery writers took this idea and amplified it to fantastical levels, imagining a biological network that transcends time and space itself. In Star Trek Discovery, this mycelial network allows the ship to essentially jump across the universe, bypassing the constraints of traditional warp drive technology, which takes longer and requires travel along a linear path. The spore drive represents a quantum leap in propulsion, though one deeply grounded in the organic structure of the universe. Theoretical connections to quantum physics. Although the spore drive itself is an imaginative piece of science fiction, there are elements of real-world science that resonate with its depiction. The idea of instantaneous travel across the universe recalls discussions in quantum physics about phenomena like quantum entanglement, in which particles are connected in such a way that the state of one particle instantly influences the state of another, regardless of the distance between them. While quantum entanglement has not yet been used to explain faster-than-light travel in real life, the underlying principle that the universe is connected in ways that defy our current understanding of time and space does hint at some of the same scientific wonder that drives the Discovery writers' portrayal of the mycelial network. Moreover, the way the spore drive taps into the mycelial network and navigates across it draws parallels to theories about how quantum fields might be used for advanced space travel. Physicists have speculated that quantum fields could one day help us manipulate the fabric of spacetime, allowing for faster-than-light travel. Though these ideas remain speculative, they offer a tantalizing glimpse into how real-world physics and the imaginative science fiction of Star Trek occasionally overlap. Paul Stamets and fungal science in popular culture by naming their spore drive expert after Paul Stamets, the writers of Star Trek.